As a Sacramento City College prepared for this month's demolition of its 1930s fine arts building and art gallery, Crystal Bear opened a drawer to reveal a small oil painting. It's Wayne Thiebaud's 2 pie, neat slices of pumpkin and chocolate cream served up on white plates from 1961, early in his dessert periods. It's our most valuable piece, the gallery director said. We bought it then for $100. That's what his paintings were going for before 1962, when he had a show in New York, and then he became a legend. How the work of such a famous artist came into the possession of a local junior college is part of a bigger story about Sacramento's diverse art scene and the characters who inhabit it. Among those is Wayne Thiebaud, Gregory Kondos, Fred Dalky, Sacramento's painterly triumvirate. The work of these distinguished local artists are known far beyond the community of Sacramento. They all have had major exhibitions in New York, and they have been honored by prestigious American Academy of Arts and Letters. Also, Thiebaud has received a National Medal of the Arts from the President Bill Clinton. But these 3 friends first crossed paths many years ago at City College, where they helped build its prestigious art collection. Known for its stacked ice cream cones and hot dogs. There was also, Thiebaud remembers, rows of pies. At 16, Thiebaud was pushed further into creative pursuits after breaking his back playing sports. He later became involved in high school theatrical productions, specifically creating scenery and working on the stage crew. One of his favorite responsibilities was to control the spotlight that followed the actors, which sparked an interest in halation, as the light of the spot ringed with spectral hues. A similar spotlight even falls on some of his subjects today. Most recently, his circus folk, which you can see, I'll show an example here. In the summer of 1936, Thiebaud worked as an apprentice in the animation department at Walt Disney Studios, serving as an in-betweener, the person who would render the frames connecting the more important images. He was there only 3 months before being fired for participating in union activities. In 1938, Thiebaud attended classes at the Frank Wiggins Trade School in Los Angeles, learning skills in lettering, sign painting, cartooning, and commercial art. At first, school teachers were reluctant to admit him as they thought he was too young. They relented after seeing his sketches. He also apprenticed as a sign painter, show card illustrator at Sears, Roebuck and Company. After graduating from high school, Thiebaud worked various jobs, including as a freelance cartoonist and as an usher for movie theaters. He worked at the Rivoli in Long Beach, where he illustrated the occasional promotional poster. The hours he spent near the snack counter and in the lobby, which was decorated with promotional stills and movie placards, were impactful. Movie house food, such as candy, soda, popcorn, have all featured prominently in Thiebaud's work. Since then, other theater-related objects has appeared too. In 1940, Thiebaud enrolled at the Long Beach Junior College, now Long Beach City College, but dropped out after an academic year, receiving credit only for athletics and a course in public speaking. He then enlisted in the United States Army Air Forces to become a pilot, and he was stationed at Mather Field, now Mather Air Force Base, southeast of Sacramento, beginning in 1942. But he ended up working in the Special Services Division as a graphic artist and cartoonist. Thiebaud would go on to produce his own comic strip, Alec, for Wingtips, the Mather Fields newspaper, along with other illustration and design work both for the military. He used to be an associate professor of painting at the San Francisco Art Institute, and his work examines issues of globalization, cultural co-modification through the integration of digital imagery, video, and traditional painting techniques. Dewey's works are in permanent collections around the country and around the world. Dewey Crumpler, I took classes with him at the Art Institute, and he was such a gentle soul, and he is also the most incrediblest muralist painter. And he has a recent interview that you can find with the Brooklyn Rail. Howard's work has long dealt with themes of home and belonging. In 2017, a rent increase forced her to move out of the Berkeley studio where she had lived for over 18 years. This made themes of home all more poignant in her work and led her to deeper explorations of the effects of gentrification and displacement. Howard does not shy away from incorporating activism or politics into her work. Though she is conscious of the divide between art and activism, she states, "Changing the world is up to the people who look at my art. I'm hoping they will feel something as a result of looking at the work. It's what the viewer and the spectator bring to the work." She received an Associate of Arts degree and certificate in fashion arts from College of Alameda in 1977. Howard continued studies and received an MFA from Fiberwork Center from Textile Arts at the JFK University. It was located in Orinda, California. Howard began her adult life as a dancer before working in visual art. In early 1980s, Howard's installations took the form of manipulated windows from storefronts and churches. They later evolved into constructed habitats that provided walk-in environments. For example, in 1990, Howard created a house made of engraved bottles and sand in the atrium of the Afro-American Museum in Los Angeles. This work was inspired by the book Autobiography of an Ex-Colored Man by James Weldon Johnson. and makes visual reference to the bottle houses that Johnson describes in his book. In 2005, she fabricated and installed a house made of red glass at the Museum of Glass in Tacoma, Washington. Howard's TAP investigations of memory was exhibited at the Oakland Museum of California. The exhibit was a powerful multimedia installation examining themes of identity, church culture, gentrification, dance, activism, and more. Most prolific French artist and caricaturist of the 19th century, who created a work which still today strikes us in its realism, artistic expression, and imagination. Daumier succeeded in his drawings, lithographs, wood engravings, paintings, and sculptures to express irony, sadness, joy, reality, and vision. At the same time, his oeuvre shows his deep political engagement and his heartfelt criticism of the monarchic system. Then Shaun immigrated to the United States in 1906. In his early teens, he was apprenticed to a lithographer, but went on to study biology at New York University. Shaun later changed course, studying at the Art Students League, and in 1925 at the Académie de la Grande Chambre in Paris. Returning to the United States in 1929, he worked as a photographer for the Farm Security Administration from 1935 to 1938. Over the years, Shaun experimented with silkscreening and created magazine illustrations and advertisements. In 1933, Shaun assisted the Mexican artist Diego Rivera on an important series of murals depicting labor and industry for New York's Rockefeller Center. Shaun was employed by the Works Progress Administration in the mid-1930s to design a mural for a federal prison. Although that project was never realized, he received many other private and public mural commissions in subsequent years. Shaun's late works concentrate on universal religious themes, creation and relationship between the individual and God. And he is one of the leading social realists of the 20th century. Shaun's art is one of protest against injustice and prejudice. His paintings and prints focuses on social and political issues, focusing on the poor, disenfranchised, whom he portrays with sympathy. The subjects of his earliest works are victims of political injustice, such as Seco and Vanzetti. From 1930s on, Shaun's art has been widely shown in major museums across the world. A page from Frida Kahlo's diary. I'll try out the pencils, sharpened to the point of infinity, which always sees ahead. Green, good warm light. Magenta, Aztec, old, Tlapali, blood of prickly pear, the brightest and oldest. Brown, color of mole, of leaves. Earth, becoming earth. Yellow, madness, sickness, fear, part of the sun and of happiness. Blue, electricity and purity, love. Black, nothing is black, really nothing. Olive, leaves, sadness, science, the whole of Germany is this color. Yellow, more madness and mystery. All the ghosts wear clothes of this color, or at least their underclothes. Dark blue, color of bad advertisements and of good business. Blue, distance, tenderness can also be this blue blood. Magdalena Carmen Frida Kahlo y Calderón was a Mexican painter known for her many portraits, self-portraits, and works inspired by the nature and artifacts of Mexico. Frida Kahlo, Mexican painter. Born July 6, 1907, Mexico City. Died July 13, 1954, Mexico City. The periods that her art falls into: naive art, modern art, surrealism, and more. Her husband, Diego Rivera. Born December 13th, 1886. He was born in Guanajuato, Mexico. Diego was a 20th century Mexican muralist and painter. His full name was Diego Maria de la Concepción Juan Nepomuceno Estanislao de la Rivera y Barrientos Acosta y Rodríguez. Although his parents were Catholic, he himself was a proclaimed atheist and had Jewish streak in his personality. May that is because his family was said to be converse. His passion for art was evident from an early age. Although his father wanted him to pursue a military career, but by the age 10 he knew he wanted to study art and trained himself accordingly. He first tried his hand in Cubism, but later shifted to post-impressionism. Ultimately, he created a style of his own. In fact, his art was a reflection of the lives of the working class. The culture of the native people of Mexico is also reflected in his works. Used a wide range of color, complementary colors, specifically to show the effect of light on an object and its shadow. Thiebaud's distinctive use of color gave his pieces a quality that appealed to the viewer emotionally and sensually than they seem. The white frosting is not just white, but it is also orange, blue, and beige. The cakes cast bluish, purplish shadows. Thiebaud developed a practice of sketching with different colored paints, which produces the rainbow-like lines that define the edges of his objects.